Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Expert Seat. Today, we're joined with Tony House, founder of CTA, Canadian Topflight Academy. So, welcome for joining us. Today, we'll be talking about a few different subjects, mainly basketball, but we'll also get into some corporate coaching, sales coaching, stuff like that. So, I always like to start off with a question: what makes a great basketball player?
I think like anything, it's putting in work.
Yeah.
It's the reality is that you got to be great at your craft. So some of it is obviously athleticism and
Mm-hmm.
physical attributes. It's always nice that if you're 6'8",
Yes.
250 pounds, but some of us weren't blessed with that.
Yes.
I'm 5'10", and I heard a lot of you're just too small to play.
Yeah.
So, but I think a lot of it will just come down to putting in the work, practicing, training, just studying other great players. But bottom line is just go out and try to play the best, the best competition,
Yes.
try to find some really good mentors and coaches.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. It's nothing that, whether it's basketball, hockey, soccer, I mean, if you ask some of the best athletes, you got to put the work in.
Yeah, I've listened to a few of your mic'd up moments when you're coaching the kids, and they look up to you, man. I can tell just from those videos. So that's good.
Well, you don't take the role lightly.
No,
I
of
mean,
course
because
not.
you're not just a coach. You're in my instance, I could be the father, I could be a guidance counselor, a social worker, child psychologist.
Yeah,
You're everything to some of these kids because
a role model.
you're a bit, yeah, you're filling some holes. But
Yeah,
the basketball, I'm proud of a lot of the kids that come with some pretty dark backgrounds, and they're using basketball and sports to kind of give them the outlet.
yeah,
And so I know that, and we're just trying to give them the tools. So, some of the things are a lot of life skills, like, being on time, punctuality, communication. It's not just the sport, but a
yeah.
lot of the stuff you do outside of the sport that really impacts their lives.
Yeah, I think that's what I got from going and playing football. The discipline that came with it, and it was good life skills. And you yourself, you played for Manitoba University.
Yeah, I started. My late father got me involved.
Okay.
When I think I was 6 years old when we started.
Wow.
So I'm in Ottawa, born and raised. So I played for the Nepean Amateur Basketball Association, the NABA,
Yeah.
and that was kind of my first. But yeah, at 6 years old, I started playing. Competitively. Played at school ball, Graham Park, Green Bank, and then I went to St. Pius X High School and had some really good years there. Was recruited by a number of universities, but I ended up going to the University of Manitoba to play for a former Olympian, Martin Riley.
Okay.
He played my position, and he was an amazing, mentor of mine, and I knew him for quite some time as a family friend. So going to Manitoba was a really good. Yeah, really good choice. Had him for 1 year,
Yes.
and then the last couple of years we ended up almost winning a national championship and ranked number one. And today still have some really good friends out in Winnipeg. And it was a
Good.
great 3 years.
And did you come back and play a season in Ottawa?
No. So
No?
once I left Ottawa, those were the 3 years that I basically left Ottawa.
Yeah.
Played 3 years for what was the CIAU,
Okay.
for 3 years, and came back to Ottawa to start kind of real life stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And your dad played for the Ravens?
Yeah, he was he's a Hall of Famer and
Yeah.
an amazing man. Taught me a lot. He was probably he was my biggest fan. I'd bounce stuff off him, and it was like, you can do this. Anything you want, you can do it. He gave me a lot of confidence, and he was I miss him every day, but I talk to him, and it's he's one of my inspirations.
His jersey's retired at the Ravens.
One of the only two, him and John Love. So
Okay.
he left his legacy, and then we continue it here as
course.
what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And how close is Canada to medal in the next Olympics in basketball?
I think really close. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got right now you got four Canadians in the NBA Finals, and then of
Okay.
course, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander won the MVP.
Okay.
Canada's in great shape. There we have the second most NBA players after the U.S.
No
So
way.
it goes U.S., Canada, I think France. But no, we're in really good shape. I think it was disappointing results
Yes.
in Paris, but I think if everybody comes, I think we're as good as anyone. I mean, the U.S. is the U.S. U.S. could have three or four teams and finish probably 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
But that's no slight on other countries.
No.
But I think Canada, if we bring our best, everybody's healthy. Definitely, we're medal worthy.
And what do you think you can attribute Canada's rise in basketball to?
I think, we're talking a bit off air, and,
Yeah.
and it's I think just there's a lot of people playing it.
Yeah.
Our immigration is getting, is very diverse.
Yes.
NBA is global. It's got a global reach.
Yes.
Like I would argue that, Wayne Gretzky or, Sidney Crosby can walk in certain places and not be recognized.
Right.
Whereas, Michael Jordan and LeBron James, like it's global,
Yes.
whether it's Africa, Asia, North America. So I think the appeal is there globally. I think the cost to play basketball, it's not hockey. It's not some of those other sports where it costs a gajillion dollars to outfit your kid and play. I think it's affordable. All you need is really a pair of shoes, shirts and shorts, and a basketball. You've got outdoor courts free. I think what we do need to do is we have to, I think the municipalities have to, I think we start, no disrespect, I think let's stop building hockey rinks because I think that's plateaued. And I'd even argue that hockey's going down where basketball is on the rise.
Yes.
And I think we need more facilities to accommodate the numbers that are playing. So between the explosion of participants, and then I think we have really good grassroots coaching.
Yes.
I think there's a combination of, school and scholastic prep, what we're doing, and then the communities do a really good job in the club system.
Yeah.
We're just developing really good talent, but I think it starts with there's a heck of a lot of people playing basketball and a lot of youth.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's a low barrier entry.
Yeah.
All you need is a basketball and a couple of friends.
That's it. And see a lot of hoops on driveways.
Yes.
So
that's right.
Keeps you out of trouble. And it's fun. And I've been doing basketball camps for over 35 years. And we accommodate, the kid, the boy who wants to play in the NBA, the girl who wants to play in the WNBA, but we also accommodate those who just want to play and get better and have fun. So it's just a good recreational thing. And you can play basketball. It's not like golf where you can play till you're 80, but you can play basketball, well into your 50s and 60s.
Of course.
And I think just it's a lot of fun to play. And for me, I've kind of focused on the coaching and kind of giving back that way. And it's been a really good run.
Because you can have nice basketball courts for the summer, and then those get converted into skating rinks in the winter.
Yep.
And not a lot of kids go out and skate on the outdoor skating rinks anymore. They're all in the arenas and stuff like that. But I remember as a kid, I'll be 40 soon. The skating rink was packed in the winter. They just don't go out there anymore.
Yep.
But in my small town in Wendover, we got a nice basketball court, and it gets converted into a little skating.
It is. That's Canada.
Yeah, that's Canada for sure. How impactful are heroes in the industry? Like I'm thinking more specifically of Caitlin Clark right now. Like she's bringing a lot of attention to that sport. And do you see a lot more younger girls getting interested in basketball these days?
Yeah, no, I mean, we like the same amount of success that our guys are having. Like it's twofold. It's the same for women. Obviously, Caitlin Clark has just come on the scene like, the woman version of Steph Curry, you know, and she's so skilled. And I think that was the kind of the shot in the arm that the WNBA needed, because if you just, it's simple economics. They're selling out every game. They're showing her, on national TV, and the ratings are going through the roof. So it's much deserved. I mean, bottom line, it's all based on revenue. I mean, the WNBA are the best women in the world. They just don't have, the TV contracts and all the,
That's right.
25,000 people showing up at their games. But Caitlin Clark is making the WNBA a lot more relevant, and she's fun to watch.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's good. But even just from a local standpoint or national standpoint, our women are doing great. Argue they're doing the same and better than the men, and I think it's a credit to people that are immersed in that women's basketball. So
Yes, yes, that's good. So let's talk a bit more about your past career, because you were in sales coaching before. You were working at Nortel and stuff like that
yeah,
before.
yeah. I got my first sales gig. So I was actually a student. I was a supply
Okay,
teacher, and then I was
and you've done it all.
a TA, a teaching
Yeah.
assistant in special needs classes. So
Okay.
I originally wanted to get into teaching. I thought that was kind of the natural, but I only ended up getting a BA, a Bachelor of Arts, where I kind of screwed up. I should have probably taken a 4-year B Bachelor of Education
Yes.
at the University of Manitoba. So after my 3-year BA, came back, thought I'd get the good experience, applied 3 times to teachers college, which
Yeah.
was really tough. You
Yeah.
needed to have, an A+ average. And I mean, my resume was good, my references, everything. My grades were okay. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what held me back. So a plug to everybody: do your best in school.
Yes.
Bottom line is your parents, everybody around you is going to say, go get, like, make sure you get good grades.
Yes.
If I had to probably put a little bit more work towards
Yeah.
academics, some things happen. There's no regrets,
Of
but I'm
course.
telling my kids and my student athletes, the grades are, most important.
Of course.
It'll keep your doors open. But I ended up getting into sales at Elgin Sports. I was a wholesale guy on the road, selling to schools. I'd
Okay.
have, basketball, football uniforms. I'd have grad wear, rugby shirts. That was
Yeah.
my gig. So what that ended up allowing me to do was 10 months of school, and then it allowed me to actually run my basketball camps
Okay.
in the summer. So I've been running the basketball camps with Leo Routens, the Routens House basketball camps, for over 35 years. So
Wow.
it was kind of a good balance. So, and it got me, that was my leg into sales.
Yes.
Then I was recruited locally with Silicon Valley North,
Okay.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
I decided to take my gifts to the
Yes.
high tech world, and I worked for a couple of high tech firms, selling to the Nortels, the JDSs, the New Bridges.
Okay.
Yeah, which was kind of different. I was definitely like, I'm wearing a suit. Actually, Rogers. I actually started with Rogers
Okay.
as kind of a major accounts guy too. So it was like start with sportswear
Yeah.
wholesale, and then get into kind of that high tech world.
Yeah.
And that was an experience because, bottom line, if things were really crazy, and when I say crazy, they were good.
Yes.
Money was awesome, all that stuff. And then then it kind of just caved in, as we know.
Yes.
Everything was overinflated, and then sales, it was tough. I would walk into, JDS or Alcatel, and see all the boxes that I sold. Well, I sold the components that went into those boxes, and those were gathering dust. So
What
if
were
they're
you
not moving the
selling?
boxes, RF, high frequency RF components, fiber optic components,
Okay.
things that went into, again,
Yeah.
their box. But when you walk into their warehouse and see all the boxes where your components were going in,
Not
and they're
being
not
used.
moving, there's a domino effect,
Yes,
right?
of
So I
course.
got let go twice in 4 years, which was really trying because I was a husband, I was a father of 3, and again, not great packages, but enough time to figure it out. The last time I got let go, that was kind of an eye opener, and I'm going, I can't get back into high tech. This is not going anywhere.
It's too
And
volatile.
yeah, it is. And then so I just decided to open up my own company, Corporate Hype, and
Okay.
be a consultant. And so I was marketing for different companies, running events for people. That's kind of what I did. So
Okay.
kind of made the shift, and it was not really, it was kind of forced on me.
Yeah.
But you always just got to find a way. You can't piss and moan and,
No, no,
and
no.
cry about stuff. It's like, I think the biggest thing, I think anybody that's done some good things to tell people is that you got to persevere. That's the
Yes.
P word. Like, I don't care what it is. If you persevere and just fight through, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that when I coach younger salespeople, I think that persistence is like the number one thing. Like you can never stop. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like the only no that will matter is the last one that you accept,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah, don't take it personal
Yeah.
because yeah, it's not you're not always going to get that sale. And
Yes.
there's a ton of competition out there. So the other thing is you have to develop relationships, and that's everywhere in life.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. You got to have strong relationships and earn people's loyalty.
Yeah.
And that's not easy.
On that subject of persistence, I mean, I think I've heard somewhere that Michael Jordan didn't get choose for his basketball team in high school. Is that story true?
Yeah, no, he got cut. I think as a sophomore, he was
Okay.
trying to make his varsity team, and yeah, Michael Jordan got cut,
And that
and
was
I
at
think
14 years old?
must maybe around there, 14, 15, so grade 10, let's
Yeah.
just say. So he was trying out for his grade 11, 12, so trying to play up, and the coach cut him, and he could have. We might not have been able ever had Michael Jordan if he had have said, "Okay, I'm done."
I'm
Right,
out.
I'm done.
Yeah.
This like you're cutting me. Yeah. So great. That's probably the perfect, and a lot of people use that as the life lesson. Is Michael Jordan got cut, the one of the greatest, if not the greatest athlete to ever
Yes.
play a sport. He got cut, and to his credit, used it as motivation, and
Yes.
hence Michael Jordan.
And do you see that in a lot of young kids that you coach? Maybe they're not there yet, but they push through and then they become a greater player.
Yeah, so that persistence and dealing with adversity, I
Yes.
think that's what makes you stronger. So to my point, you get cut, you don't get that job, you don't get what you want. The bottom line is you just got to overcome that. And
Yes.
yes, the easy thing is to quit.
Yeah.
I was told I was, back in the day too small to play basketball. I was told that, yeah, you want to open a basketball school? You'll never do it. Oh, you're thinking about opening up a prep school? You'll like,
Yeah.
so you're always going to have, and these are the haters,
Yeah.
or there are also some, of your close circle that just, oh, it's really tough. Why don't you try something like
Of
people who love
course.
you
Of
that just may
course.
want what's best for you, but they're a little bit afraid of you.
Of
So
course.
for me, tell me I can't do something.
Yeah.
tell me I'm going to fail at something. That just motivates me even more.
It's common
So
for people that love you to say, "Hey, don't go risk this.
right,
Go take the safe
yeah,
route." And it doesn't come from them not believing in you. It becomes from them wanting to protect you.
yeah,
But I mean, you need to risk something in order to achieve
yeah,
greatness, right?
100%.
Yeah. And beyond persistence, like what have you seen some 14, 15-year-olds that weren't really, putting up numbers or they won't playing to their heights? What is the next thing that the next box that they need to tick?
Yeah, like everybody's different,
Yes.
right? Because I'm dealing with kids that are, anywhere from grade 9 to grade 13 because of the
Yes.
post grad. So everybody changes, even physically.
Yes.
Things change from year to year. So a lot of it, I tell them this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Hmm.
So your version of you in grade 9, 4 years from now, could be totally different. So focus on the now and the
Yes.
today. Coaches like myself and pretty much every coach needs to have that crystal ball to see the version of, okay, this kid's this in grade 9. I think I can get him to here by the time he's done. So
Yeah.
we need to have that vision of what the player is today and who he's going to be 4 years, 5 years from now. And it's important for us to get him there. And
Yes.
so I guess the other P word is just be patient.
Yeah.
So between being patient, because sometimes that journey is not just going to be, it's going to
Linear.
be, a
Oh
roller
yeah.
coaster. So bottom line is, I've seen a lot of grade 9 kids who are just like the best player for the class of whatever. And then by the end of it, they're nowhere to be found. And it's the same for like,
Yeah.
again, there's those early bloomers and then
Yes.
there's those late bloomers. So I think if you're persistent and patient, I think good things are going to be happening
Of course.
if you put the work in
Yeah.
and believe in yourself and find coaches that will challenge you
Yes.
and get you to where you want to be. Because I've always told players like, I'll coach you. I'm going to coach you hard. I may even yell at you, but that's nothing personal. And I go, the day I stop yelling at you, then you should worry
Yeah.
because I've given up on you.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to put all this time in and I'm telling you this, and you're doing that, then I'm going to give up on you.
Of
So
course.
if you hear me, it means I care, and it means I see something in you. So let me coach you.
Of course. So persistence, and then the next thing is obviously a vision for what you can become. I think that's important.
Yeah. So, and self-awareness.
Okay.
Knowing you got to be confident, but some kids, through no fault, and social media plays a big part of it, is they build you up into this, greatness.
Yes.
And the bottom line is that you need to know really how good you are, but also how bad you may be at other things. So know your strengths, but know your weaknesses. A lot of kids, as a result of maybe, again, the people who love you build you up. They don't want, they're not going to tell you that you suck at this.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you, oh, you're the greatest. Coach may not know, coach doesn't know what he's doing. Just stay with it. You're the best player on the team. And that builds confidence.
Yes.
But it also builds some false self-awareness. So know what you're good at, know how good you are, and know what your weakness is and what you got to get better at.
Of course.
So that's kind of the other part.
You don't want to surround yourself with yes men and yes women. It's like, you're great. You want to hear it when
a nice balance.
A nice balance.
Yeah.
And let's talk about team bonding. Like I've watched The Last Dance, and those were great teams in Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a lot of camaraderie outside of the court.
Yeah.
Is that common in big teams? Is it, or do you see like winning teams being more closely knit?
Yeah, I think, and the C word, culture.
Yes.
You got to have a championship culture in your field and everything, and in any business and in families.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some dysfunction.
Of course.
Never going to be perfect. And back to, you're going to have to face some adversity, and there's going to be some issues that arise. So I think, at the end of the day, it is the culture.
Yes.
And you have to have buy-in. I think the NBA might be a little different because, you got 12 business guys. You got guys that are making 30, 40 million. You got another guy who's making 10. It's still a business. So, Last Dance was entertaining, and to find out how really competitive Michael Jordan was, it's not surprising. He was a dickhead to play with, but the bottom line is, the guy wins. Yeah. And his expectations, and similar to Kobe, these guys are they're just not human. Yeah. they're machines that just want to win. Not everybody's going to do what you do. Yeah. But Michael wants to bring everybody up, and he wants to win championships. Yeah. And in that, they won, they're arguably the best team, and he's the best player because he went 6 for 6. Yes. In our level, it's all in recruiting, yes. Right? In NBA, you draft, you get guys, you sign contracts. With me and most like preps or even companies, we go out and recruit. Hopefully high character, yes. No maintenance people. Okay. So bottom line is, I'm going out to recruit championship guys, like guys that have won championships that know what to sacrifice, because, you can go out and get a guy who scores 30 points a game, but he's playing for a bad team. I'd rather go for, to build a team where all of them average 12 to 14, 15 points, and we're the best team in Canada. Yes. Because because the bottom line is my kids want to get recruited to university. So I think it all starts from recruiting. We're going to have some tough days. Guys individually are going to have some tough days. We're going to take some bad losses, but it's all how you relate and connect with your guys. Yes. I think my guys, hopefully the end goal is that they know that if they call me at 2 or 3 in the morning, I will take your call and be there. Wow. And that's, you need to get that buy-in, and you need to know that these guys are willing to run through the wall for you.
Have you gotten calls at 2 or 3 in the morning?
There's the odd call, let's just say, or be there for them in some tough times, because we know, we know that mental health especially
Well,
youth mental health with now the pressure of the cell phone and social
ah,
media. How many likes did I get? How many retweets? How many friends do I have? You
yes.
got to be, and back to my point, we're not just a basketball coach.
Yeah.
We need to be, cognizant of their mind state,
Yes.
and that's why I've softened a little bit. Like I used to be, hard,
Yeah.
and now you can't be like, yes, I'm going to coach you,
Yeah.
but there's also that sign where I don't know what he's going through, and I got to be careful because you know who to push. And then hopefully there's a lot of guys that will come up to me or my assistant coaches to let them know that they're going through some stuff.
Yeah, it was
So
tough growing up before, but now, I mean, it's
a lot of
crazy.
distractions and yeah, that cell phone and so like social media is really kicking the crap out of kids. I got grandkids and I'm going, man, it's like, is it, I can't see it getting any better, but
Yeah.
they're just so addicted to their phones, so addicted to social media where it's important to get those likes. And it's a tough
I've
tough
been
to grow up in this day.
I've been hearing more awareness around that over the past few years,
Yeah,
like last 2, 3 years,
yeah,
and hopefully our generation, I have young
yeah,
kids right now, like we've gone through that addiction. I've deleted Instagram,
yeah.
Facebook off my phone. They're no longer on there. So I'm hopeful that the next generation will be more aware,
Mhm.
like cigarettes, like,
Yeah,
all the bad stuff. So hopefully the next generation won't be as tied
yeah.
into that social media. That's my hope.
Yeah,
You know?
no, and unfortunately, I have to live that because
Yes,
with Canada Top Flight Academy, I need to have an active Instagram
of
account. I
course.
need to have an average, X account,
Yeah.
Facebook, everything. We need that presence, and I need to promote my guys
Yes,
because that's what coaches are looking for, like
of course.
highlight reels. It's just the nature of the beast. And if I don't market and promote my guys, they're going to go somewhere else that
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, when I say addicted, I'm very active because
Yes.
I manage, like that's part of my job with CTAs. I manage
There is there
the
is
social media account.
there is a way to unplug
Yeah,
but stay connected. So I time block my social media.
yeah,
There's a great book, Digital Minimalism.
yeah,
Read that a few years ago, and it really changed my
yeah,
approach. So we're still active on
yeah.
social, but not in the waiting
Yeah.
line at Starbucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I think it's that says a lot. And I
Yeah, yeah.
think you gotta kind of be where you are, and especially with, your family and young kid, like
Yes,
that's your world.
of
Right. So commit
course.
and dedicate it. And yeah, my family's everything, and there's a time to unplug for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's nuts. Like if I'm chilling with my son and he's watching the Wiggles or the Teletubbies, and then I get a business.
Bluey?
Not yet. He's got a
No.
bluey hat. He
All
loves his bluey
right.
hat, but he hasn't.
There you
He's
go.
2.5 years
Yeah.
old. So, um, yeah, I get a phone call and
Yeah.
we're just chilling, and it's like, oh man, this call is super important, but maybe it could wait,
Yeah.
45 minutes to an hour until he goes to
Sure.
bed. Um, I want to wrap up on the subject of culture. What are some exercise that you've put into place early season to sort of get the culture going in the team?
Yeah, it's kind of like because we've been doing it now for 9 years, you always have some guys that are coming back.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing is, yes, actually do what you say you're going to do, because I think
Yes.
that's you're always on. So
Okay.
your kids, whatever you promise to do, like you actually, words are cheap.
Hmm.
So you need to actually act on it. So yes, as a coaching staff, and it's not just me, but anyone that's involved with CTA, there's an expectation, and we're going to hold you to a very high expectation.
Yes.
I'm always saying that you'll never meet the expectation because it'll just keep
Yes.
once you reach it, it'll just keep, we'll just keep raising it. So
Yes.
that standard that we've set, we've been fortunate enough to win a lot of championships.
Yes.
And so now back to that buy-in is that you need internal leadership. So that comes from obviously the coaches, but it comes from the players.
Okay.
So when you have that buy-in, and especially if you have some repetition or guys that come back, where all of a sudden I can if we're not playing well and at halftime I come in and, if I'm the guy that always is just yelling and screaming, and at some point it's just, they're just going to see my lips move,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they're just going to go, here he goes again. What's most effective with culture is the players themselves own it. So they call their teammates out. So as long as you have, they don't have to be captains, but as long as
Yes.
you have like really hard workers, really good players, and they've bought in, and you've set the expectations. It's standards. I don't call them rules. I call them standards.
Yes.
Rules, no one likes rules. I
Yeah.
just call them standards. So we make our kids sign a contract, and then we go through kind of this success guide where we look at just ways that we can maintain and sustain this culture. But it comes from the coaches, it comes from your trainers, it comes from anybody in your organization. But ultimately, it's the players that kind of buy in and have
Yes.
to own the culture and want to see the culture the way it is. So, but as I said, it's really internal leadership and the players that make all the difference, because they
Yeah.
go out and win the games, right?
They'll call each other out if they see somebody
Right.
not putting in the
Yeah,
effort.
because they want to win championships. So if someone's dogging it, they're going to call you out. They want a scholarship. They want to play university basketball. So if your teammate, why wouldn't you? Like, Jimmy, like, I know you can play better. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to cost me a championship, and we're not playing great. The coach isn't going to recruit us.
Yeah.
So let's pick up your game.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned standards. What are some of the standards that you put in place?
Yeah, it's just some easy stuff. Like back to my like punctuality.
Yes.
I think that's huge. Like,
Of course.
my guys know that if they're on time, they're late.
Mm,
And bottom line, that's a life skill.
of
So
course.
it's the bus isn't going to. I've left kids in lobbies of hotels. Like, if you're not there, if I say it's 9 a.m., if you're not there at 9 a.m., we're leaving. And the bottom line is it's a great life skill. So that's a standard communication. If you're going to miss for whatever reason, communication's huge, and that goes for anything, whether you're in a family, an organization. You need to communicate and pick something, like DM me, WhatsApp, text, call. like,
Yeah.
like there's 4,000 ways to get in touch with me. Pick one.
Yes.
Because if you don't let me know, if you're late, you don't let me know, you're not going to survive
Yeah.
in the world, because you're going to get on probation with your company that you work with as an
Yes.
employer. You might get fired. So I'm holding you to that standard of a championship, but also an expectation that that's what your employer, or that's what anyone's going to want from you.
Yeah.
Like, your time, and punctuality is big.
Of
Your
course.
time's no worth not any more than mine. So if I can make it on time and your teammates can make it on time, you make it on time.
Of course.
So it's those kind of like are the basic standards,
Yeah.
where I don't compromise. Other stuff I may compromise, but punctuality and communication are the two that I think are the foundation
Yeah.
of how you can set a really good culture. Because it's not like I've had guys late.
Yeah. Yeah. You-
Only once.
oh yeah. Only ones.
Because I'm gone.
Yeah.
We've left guys. I left a kid at the school. He trained it to Toronto.
Okay.
So that
No way.
no one else was late that year.
I used to-
it's those examples you said.
I used to lock the door on our sales training events. If we started at 11, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Forget it. I'm, as I said, and
No, it's
there's
different.
there's some extenuating reasons.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
I'm not like it's not much gray.
Yeah. Of
It's
course.
black or white.
It's good
but
to have
maybe a
those
little
standards.
gray. Yeah. And as I said, I think the kids, and the beautiful thing is that it just goes down the legends or the or the folklore of, he left kids, because it goes like, he's not joking. So all the team tells these new guys, no, like, he's not screwing around. He will leave you.
Yeah.
Don't care if you're the best player or one of the weaker ones. And then if you screw up in school, there's consequences, right? Like,
Yes.
again, I just want you working, doing well, but there's consequences to skipping class or being a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like I will put you on probation. I will suspend you. And bottom line is, I have an all-star team. So in your other team or other teams, you may be the best player. You're one of the many great players I have.
Yes.
Don't need you.
Yeah.
So, and it's a great example too. Like, you're suspended for 2 weeks. You suspended Johnny? Yeah, he
Yeah.
did this, this, this. He's our best player. Don't care.
Yeah. He's got to meet
So
those standards.
you got to do it.
And you work with the Catholic School Board, is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah.
And you take all of the best players from all the other schools?
We try. Like,
Okay.
we've had kids from Australia, BC. Like,
Yes.
we're a global institution, or like high performance academy.
Yes.
So I'm getting DMs from Africa, kids from all over the place that want to be part of CTA
Okay.
because they want to play, ultimately the NBA, but they want to play
High level.
NCAA D1 post-secondary university. So no, like, I specifically opened CTA for Ottawa kids. I was tired of, again, having
Yeah.
kids come from, having kids leave,
Yeah.
go to Toronto, go to the States. So I'm a born and raised Ottawa guy. So my WHY was to create these same opportunities for local kids. So we have, on average, probably 90% of the kids are from Ottawa,
Okay.
which is great, and I'll always there could be a kid from Montreal or Toronto that's here and an Ottawa kid here. I will still take the Ottawa kid because I believe we can coach them up and get them
Yes.
there. So I will always give the benefit to an Ottawa kid because that's my roots.
Okay. And how young can somebody apply to get
Basically
those?
grade 9.
Grade
So all
9.
your high school, grade 9, grade 12. And then now a lot of kids are doing their victory lap or
Yes.
post-grad year, a 5th year of high school.
Okay.
It just seems to be the norm, not the exception,
Yes.
because they need that one extra, because we had grade 13 when I was
Yes.
going to school.
Same.
I think that 5th year was really helpful just physically.
They're 18, 19.
Yeah, like some of these kids are 17 going into university. Oof.
Yeah.
At 17, I don't think I was ready, but giving that grade 13, especially now with recruiting and just the landscape of what university coaches are looking for,
Yeah.
they're looking for older, more mature guys. Yeah.
And from high school, they want to go either play for Canadian universities or for
Yeah.
American universities. That's
Yeah, the highest level. And then I've got guys now that are playing professionally overseas. So
okay.
guys are making a paycheck. So yeah, we've been at it
Cool.
a long time. Haven't had anybody in the NBA yet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But we're going to do our best to just provide, the support and the skills to get a kid to be his best version
Okay.
or to play at his highest level. But it's really exciting as a coach to be part of the journey, and whether that's a journey into basketball or a journey into the workforce. So
Yes.
got guys that are now vice presidents of companies, and it's just different success. But I
Yeah.
feel that, I kind of had a little bit to do with it, using basketball, using those kind of, life skills
course.
in the team, and providing them, resources and support that best serve them in
Yeah.
other facets.
A lot of top talent in all the industries, they come from professional athletes. We see that a lot.
Yeah. Well, you see CEOs and VPs, like, CEOs of companies they play team sports
Yes.
at a high level because they're used to being part of a team. They have a role, and you just, like you hit the nail on the head. It's because whether you're playing a sport or,
Yes.
in a corporate setting, you have to, like, that CEO is the head coach
Yeah.
of a team.
Like
And yeah,
Paul Rushforth here in Ottawa, played high level
hockey.
hockey.
Yep.
So I mean, you see that quite often.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make it to the
No.
the NBA or the NCAA, you learn a lot of
Yeah.
skills there.
Yeah.
How can people get in contact with you if they want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on all the social medias. I'm on X personally, but I have, Canada Topflight Academy.
Yes.
Basically is prominent in my social media. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
Tony House, T in the House, T in the
Yeah.
House 22 is
Okay.
is kind of my profiles on X and
22 is your number?
IG. Yeah, 22 is always my basketball number.
Why?
So, yeah, it was just one of those things where
It just
the
stuck?
first, well, it was kind of the first number. I think it was 12 in lacrosse, and then I was kind of 22 in
Yeah.
basketball, and it stuck with me. I like the double, like the double digit,
Yeah.
2 2 3 3 4 4. Dad was 4 4.
Okay.
But 22 just stuck with me, and not that superstitious, just my number. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and if I could always get it, I think there was maybe one year where I wasn't because a vet, a wily
Uh-oh.
vet,
Yeah,
had
yeah.
it, and so you just, you know, but 22 is my go-to number,
That's
and
your go-to.
yeah,
Right on. Yeah, and they're not hard to find
yeah,
online.
yeah,
You've got tons of good content
yeah.
out there, lots of good podcasts. So
Appreciate it.
listen, that's already 40 minutes, man.
Yeah.
So time flies
It
by.
did fly by, and I really enjoy you having me, and appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Tony.
Take care.
Appreciate it.